The Bible is a living word that reads us as we read it. It's a person, a voice that proves that time is not linear, as one sentence can confirm the past, guide the present, and declare the future. You are here. I am here. He is here. We are here right now. In the tomorrow of yesterday and in the yesterday of tomorrow, I thank you for joining today. So we're back. Thank you so much for joining once again. In our last episode, we talked about how Jacob grew this family. He ran home to stay with his mother's brother. So he kind of built his life in his uncle's home. He married his wife, got another one, on the side accidentally, and with his beloved wife Rachel and her sister Leah, and both of their servants, um, Bilhah and Zilpah. Jacob had all of these children. He had 11 sons and at least one daughter. And so Jacob got to the point where he was like, yo, I'm ready to go back home and really just focus on my family and my land and things that belong to me. I've been spending all these years, 20 years, um, growing things and multiplying and making things better for Laban. But now I want to focus on me and mine. And so Jacob ended up sneaking away with his family, and Laban approached him, and they ended up coming to an agreement that they wouldn't pass a particular boundary line to do harm to one another. So moving forward, Jacob and his family, the whole crew, are on their way back to Canaan. And I imagine that Jacob had this realization like, okay, I am about to go back to the place where my brother lives, and my brother hates me and wants to unalive me. So, what am I going to do? So, Jacob ended up sending some messengers to go talk to Esau. And he's like, just tell him, like, I've been kicking it with Unc, like, I got a family. I have all of these things going for me, but like, just, tell him to be nice to me. And so the messengers made their way back made their way to Esau, and then made their way back to Jacob to let him know, like, sir, Esau is actually on his way already to come talk to you, and he got 400 of his boys with him. And so he said that Jacob was terrified. And I imagine that he had every right to be terrified because of the way that he left in the first place. So he's not thinking they coming to throw him a welcome party. So he's shaking in his sandals. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay, so I'm going to take all my stuff and, okay, I'm going to divide it into two groups. So he split his household, all of his possessions into two different groups. And he's like, all right, if they come and they like, we go to war or whatever, like, by the time he finishes attacking this first group, then the second group will have time to like get away. Like, so he's strategizing this plan as to how he's going to have this face off with his brother Esau. And then Jacob prayed. That'll preach all by itself. Mhm. So Jacob prayed. And when he prayed, he reminded God of God's promises. He said, God, listen, I love you. You're amazing. You've been doing your big one with me, and I thank you for that. But here's the thing. You promised me that you were going to treat me kindly. You were going to provide for me. You're going to protect me, all that other stuff. I was going to make my way back home. You were going to give me all these descendants and all that other stuff. But I'm going to just be real with you. I'm scared because Esau on his way, he got 400 with him. And I know he mad. I know he hates me. I know what I did was wrong. Like, I just imagine that Jacob really just threw it all out there on the table, and he's like, please, Lord, protect me from my brother, like save me from him, because you promised you were gonna give me all this stuff, and like I can't get none of it if I ain't here. So after Jacob prayed, then he decided, he's like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, cool. So he goes and he gets all of these gifts to to Esau, and he sent 3 delivery packages to Esau. So he sent all of this cattle and just tangible goods by 3 different servants, and he's like, okay, y'all need to just kind of like delay the delivery so that he'll have the first one show up, and then the second one after a little bit of time, and then the third one, and that'll like butter him up a little bit, and then by the time that he gets to me, he'll be feeling better and everything. He won't even be sweating the fact that I stole his birthright and his blessing, because he got all the stuff that he lost when I was blessed with it to begin with. And so when Jacob sent these messengers, or these like delivery guys, with these large packages of gifts, he told him, he's like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna roll up on Esau. He's gonna ask you like, who all this stuff belong to, and I want you to tell him, your servant, this stuff belongs to your servant Jacob, but he wants to gift it to you. Now let me run it back just a little bit, because back when Isaac blessed Jacob, thinking that it was Esau that he was blessing, one of the things that he blessed him with, he said, your brothers are going to serve you, and they are going to bow down to you. So right here, when Jacob shifts his language and he tells these messengers to tell Esau, yo, your servant Jacob, these belong to your servant Jacob, and he wants to present them to you as a gift. It was this posturing of Jacob's heart. He was surrendering the thing that he stole that never belonged to him to begin with. And he was essentially saying, like, I am willing to bow to you, even though I am blessed with this realization that you are to bow to me. And so, anyway, he sends all of these gifts to his brother. He's like, all right, cool. I got my everything split. So if he's angry, he can, okay, we got people that can get away. And then I got these gifts. And he's like, I prayed, I talked to God. So I got that. He's just trying to cover all bases. And so they kind of settle down there about to camp, and he can't rest. And so he just ends up sending his wives and all of their children and all of his possessions and everything. He just sends them on the opposite side of the river, away from him, so he could, and he stayed on his own, on the other side of the river. And it's said that as he was there, by himself, this man rolls up on him, and they start wrestling. So Jacob is fighting with this man, and as you read it and study, and if you look in Hosea 12 verses 3 and 4, it'll tell you like it was a man, but it was an angel, and it was God. So Jacob is having this interaction. He's wrestling, and he is not letting go. Like, he's wrestling with this guy. He has a grip on him, and he will not let go. And this is going on for quite some time, because it said that the sun started peaking. Like, it was it was peeking through, over the horizon, like, I'm about to come. And this man slash angel slash God just told Jacob, he's like, yo, he's thinking to himself, he's like, yo, this dude is not letting go. And he told Jacob, like, after he realized that he wasn't going to let go, he actually touched him on his hip and knocked his hip out of socket. And I don't know what your pain tolerance is, but I imagine that if I ever had my hip knocked out of socket, I'd be weak. Like, I'm good. I'm done. You win. TKO. You got it. Whatever. But Jacob is still, even though his hip is knocked out of socket, he's still wrestling with this angel. And he won't let go. And so the angel told him, he's like, yo, it's almost morning time, bro. Like, the sun is coming up. Let me go. And Jacob told him, he's like, nah, I will not let you go until you bless me. And the angel said, what's your name? I imagine Jacob's like, I don't really know what my name got to do with it, but yeah, my name's Jacob. And the angel tells him, he's like, nah, not anymore. Not anymore. You won't go by that name anymore. You got a new name now. Your new name is Israel, because you have wrestled with man, you have wrestled with God, and you have won. And so, after this angel changed Jacob's name, then it said that he blessed him. So Jacob received this blessing that he fought for, that he held on for. And then um, Jacob releases him, and they kind of go on about their own business. And Jacob blesses the place like, yo, that I just had this face to face encounter with God. Like, he's just kind of sitting with himself. Now, this is a big deal because it kind of seems like, okay, why? Right? But this is a pivotal moment in Jacob's life, right? Because from the beginning, Jacob was wrestling with Esau. While they were in the womb, they were wrestling with each other. Rebecca talked to God, and God let her know, like, you have two rival nations in your womb right now, and the oldest will serve the youngest. From then, Jacob was like fighting for this position that Esau had. When they were born, Jacob was holding on to Esau's heel, like, nah, me first, bro. Like, he was holding on to his heel. That's what his name means. Jacob means heel grabber, but it also means deceiver. And so when this angel asked Jacob, what is your name? He was really asking him for that identity. Like, you don't have to fight for position anymore. Release that. Like, okay, so Jacob was grabbing onto the heel of Esau, like, yo, me first. Then he duped him out of his birthright because he just wanted to be in the position of Esau. And then he later on deceived him out of his blessing. And now that he's about to face Esau again, he's already changed the posture of his heart to realizing, like, I'm good being a servant. Like, I will serve him. Just spare my life, right? So it was like he got his priorities straight, and he held on instead of holding on to Esau and just like wrestling with him and wrestling with his status and his position. He wrestled with God, the source of all blessings. And he's just like, no, I don't want a blessing that I have to steal. I don't want a blessing that I have to deceive myself into. I want you to bless me, and I'm not going to let go of you until you bless me. And that's when he was renamed. Like, you will no longer be a heel grabber, having to fight your way into posture position. Now you have fought with me because you believe me to be the source of your blessing, and your name is now Israel. And so that was a really, really big deal. That was a big pivotal moment. And that's where we get this name, Israel. So now, when we talk about all of these tribes of Israel, it makes sense. That came from this name change from Jacob to Israel. So after this encounter, Jacob hobbles his way. He's limping, right? Because again, his hip is knocked out of place. He's limping his way over, and he sees Esau approaching with these 400 men, and he's like, okay. He divides his wives and his babies, and he's just like, okay, cool. He put this kind of trifling, but he put he put Zilpah, Bilhah, and their children up front. Then he put Leah and his babies with her in the middle, and then very last was Rachel and Joseph. And so when he was approaching Esau, he got in front of all of them, but it's like, okay, if he knocked me out, the next thing he coming is going to be the ones I don't really have an emotional attachment with that much. And so he saw his brother, he approached his brother. He got in front of his wife and children, approached his brother, he kneeled, he fell on his face and bowed. Again, we're talking about a posture of surrender. He bowed to Esau 7 times, like, bro, I completely submit to being your servant, bro. Like, I just want peace. And Esau saw that, and he started running toward Jacob, embraced him, just gave him this big old hug and kissed him, and they just wept together. It was this restoration of relationship. Not even, it was like, I say restoration, but it was a even better than restoration, because they weren't just restored back to where they were. They got something even greater, and having this peace between them. And Esau's like, yo, bro, like, what's up? Like, and Jacob's like, listen, I have all of these things. I've been kicking it with Unc. Like, I got all of this stuff, and you can have it all. And Esau's like, nah, bro, like, I got my own stuff. Keep your stuff, man. And Jacob's like, please, like, I want you to have it. Esau's like, cool. And then Jacob got to introduce his babies and his wives to Esau. And then Esau's like, yo, it's all good. Like, let's get back on the road, and I'll lead the way. Let's go home. And Jacob's like, bro, I got this new limp and everything. And my babies, some of them are real young. Like, I don't want to wear them out too much in one day. So we'll kind of stay back a little bit and take our time getting back. But I really appreciate you. And so now Jacob is able to have this trek, this journey back home, with having peace between him and his brother, and also having peace within himself. He's a new man now. He's no longer this deceiver, but now he's one who is holding on to the one who is really going to manifest the promise and the blessing. So we will stop there. But I am so grateful for you just sticking it out with me, and I look forward to our next episodes, if God should bless me to be able to record another one. Until then, bye for now.